Hello, welcome back to the Thrifty Suburbanite channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. Here we have something that was donated to the store where I work, and we weren't quite sure what to do with it. It was supposed to be a center island, but it's pretty tall and narrow, and question the saleability of something like that in the store. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert this over into a project cart. What they do in the store is they work on different things that come in. They paint, refinish, fix, whatever it happens to be. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this into something that has some drawers in it and a door. We're going to be able to put supplies in there and wheel it around to whatever project needs to be worked on. First concern is that it's 41.5 inches tall now. It's way too high. I have some wheels that I'm going to put underneath it. They came from commercial soda cases, like in a pizza shop. You'll see a refrigerator that has sodas in it, and this was what holds it up. It's got a grease fitting on it. It's got a little wing nut you can tighten down on the side to lock the wheel. From what I understand, weight capacity on each one of these is 1,000 pounds. More than adequate. I also have some drawer slides that I've recovered from furniture that we couldn't salvage, something beyond repair. Most of the time it's a particle board furniture that's been out in the rain or the humid environment, and the particle board expands and we just can't sell it. So when it goes out, I take the pieces from it, save them for a rainy day. Even though today's not rainy, we're going to use them. So first thing is we have to figure out how tall this is going to be. We're going to have to cut this case down. We're going to have to rework some of the framing in it to mount these casters in there. And we'll see where it goes from there. First thing we determine when we begin planning for this project is the overall height is going to be 35. That's with the wheels mounted underneath. So we have to subtract, as I said, it's 4 1/4. 1, 2, 3, 4 1/4, 31. Actually 30 3/4. Missed one little chunk right in here. Fill that in. There we go. That's what we're going to do all the way around. Mark it out. So the bottom is cut off now, and whatever frame I had that was left on the pieces I cut off, I took apart. Can't use that inside again. The issue is that we cut these off flush, but we still need a 2x4 to run down both sides. I'm going to put it flat. I'm going to cut it around these, put it back in there. That's going to solve our problem. We're going to put one in the front too, and we're going to cross brace it along both sides. Time to mark where we're going to have to make our cutouts. 1. casters are on. They're held on by good size nut on the other side with a washer. Spread out the force a little bit. Most of it is on this vertical piece that's going to go all the way up to the top. It's going to lend support if you pound on it or whatever. And then the rest of it's on the cross pieces. Now we need a bottom for the cabinet. Have the wheels on, it's upright, it rolls. Have to put a bottom on. This side here is going to have the door. So we need something to store whatever cans of paint. The other side is just going to be the drawers there. I still want to cover it up. I'll patch this with something. Like I said, it's recycled wood. Got it from the dumpster. Have all my marks on here where I want to cut. So let's get to it. Here's the floor. As you can see, we can still get to the nuts in case they need to be tightened. Okay, next step, drawers. Like I said before, I had these slides. They're not very heavy duty. I give them about 10 pounds a drawer. That's all I have, so that's what we're going to use. What I'm thinking about doing is taking this wainscoting off the side, put the drawers, and like I said before, a door is going to go in here. It'd be a lot easier to do it without this wainscoting because it brings it out to almost an inch, and everything I have is pretty much keyed for 3/4 of an inch as far as hinges and other hardware is concerned. So I'm going to try to take this off. We'll see what it looks like underneath. Hopefully the glue, it doesn't look too bad. I might be able to scrape some off, and this part's probably going to be painted anyway, so it's not really going to matter that much. See a lot of staples and not much glue, and that's good. Okay, I can deal with that. Yeah, it's kind of nasty looking there. Whatever. It's not going to be a work of art one way or another. Smallest piece seems to have the most glue on it. Yeah. I got to work on that a little bit more. It's going to have to be torn up pretty bad. Okay, I'm making the drawer pieces. These are going to be the sides. The drawers are going to be 18 inches wide, 18 inches deep in the cabinet, and the sides are going to be 6 inches deep. It's not going to be a complicated process. I'm not going to do any fancy router bits or saw cuts. It's going to make a square box and nail the bottom on with glue. Simple and easy. I'm going to put some staples in here and then come back and put some drywall screws to firm it up. That's all we need right there. Keep going over and over and over again. We'll get our box, we'll put it together. Okay, we're going to be cutting the bottom panel for the drawer. Alright, while the compressor was running, I took the liberty of putting the glue on. She's ready to go. A couple drips here and there we got to take care of. Again, we're going to staple this and then come back and screw it together. Get one side square. Let one side run off because you can always hit it with a belt sander if things don't line up perfectly. It's not the end of the world. There we go. We're just going to come around on the inside and wipe our blobs up. There's our first completed drawer. A little glue on the outside here. Go all the way around, take care of it. This is actually Baltic birch plywood here on the bottom. Has a lot of layers to it. The sides are just made out of regular exterior plywood, 1/2 inch. But it's plenty sturdy. It'll hold, especially when we get the screws in there. Next step, I have some markings here for the rough cutout of where the drawers are going to slide in. Something I just noticed when I was looking at the drawer slides, I had 2 different styles, and each style needs a different width of opening. I have 2 of one and 1 of the other, so I'm going to make the opening for the one and then probably have to shim it in a little bit for the last one. That's what happens when you work with recycled stuff. Just kind of plan a little bit and keep your eyes open what you're working with. We'll get it. Opening is cut in the cabinet for the drawers. I have the slides, I have the drawers, have some hardware to screw it on with. Next thing we have to do is prep the opening, get our drawer slides mounted, put the drawers in and put the faces on. The drawers are done. Not able to really record what I was doing in there. It's too tight. Camera angles are bad. Our next step is to put facings on the drawers. going to overlap the sides and overlap each drawer a little bit. I'm working on the drawer fronts. I've cut pieces of plywood, again recycled plywood that's already been pre-finished. It's not my choice of colors, but that's what it is. Have it on here square and even all the way around. I'm going to come around back, hit it with a couple drywall screws to hold it together until I get them all on, and then come back and glue them together. That way they won't come off. It's time to put the drawer fronts onto the drawers. Everything pretty well marked out. These are the temporary screws that I had in here to locate them. I'm going to put them back in to make sure I have the correct orientation on here. Spread some glue. Never have too much glue, except when it comes out the sides and wrecks your finish. But we're not too worried about that here. Alright, I have marks on the side pretty much where this has to go, so I know. Not going to hurt to move it around a little bit and spread the glue. Then our locating screws are going to pull it all together anyway. Nothing but 1-inch drywall screws going in at 1/2 inch and 3/4, so we're pretty much clear for the length. There we go, number 1. Make sure we didn't lose our alignment. There we go, number 2. Before I get too crazy, I'm going to put it back over there and make sure it still lines up in the cabinet. It does. So now we can go pretty much hog wild with our screws here in the front. First thing I use is a drill bit that has a very short reach. This is a double-ended bit. So short to begin with that it goes back into the drill quite a bit. I don't want it to go through and pop out the front, but at the same time I want it to give enough bite so I can get my screw in there. Something like that. So what we're going to do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll start over here. No particular order. Now we're going to countersink the holes. So the heads of the drywall screws lie flush with the plywood. We'll use our old faithful old DeWalt 18-volt drill. And we're just going to bring it down. I have the clutch set on this so it doesn't overdrive the screw and push it through the front. There it is. He's on. Good to go. So we have the door opening cut. I didn't really go into that very much. I did it on the other side. Same procedure. I have a piece of wood cut for the door. It's got a line of stain down the side that I'm probably going to have to apply stain to even this all out. And we have hinges mounted, self-closing, pretty positive close. So the door, when it gets near the quarter-way point, is going to close back up. We'll work on this now and see what else we can get into. Maybe we'll wrap this thing up now. The door is done, sanded, hinges are screwed in. Like I said before, they're self-closing hinges, but it has to be within a certain distance for them to kick it back in. I'll have to put a stop on there later after the finish is on. Let me see what else. Oh, divider between where the shelves are here and the drawers. Real thin piece of aspenite. Used to be able to get this stuff all over the place. Now, I don't know if they make it anymore. So I'll cut that, put it in there, and staple it in. We're going to start working on the top now. This is the piece that I was told was on the top before. Got edge banding on one side. The other side's just cut. It's not pretty. Yeah, whatever. This has way too much overhang. I mean, not so much that way, but lengthwise, there's too much overhang. We have to cut it back. This is meant to be a workbench, not a bar. So I suspect we're going to have maybe 3 inches overhang on each side. And we'll go with that. Tabletop is cut down to about the size we need now. Problem is we have these corners. You run into one of these things as sharp as they are now and you're going to be hurting. So we have the old coffee can trick here. Get it squared up on the corner and just run it around. I get the router bit box out here, one of them anyway. 1/4 inch. We'll see what that's going to look like. And I'm going to put a quick coat of stain on the front of this project. See what it looks like. Might end up being painted over, I'm not sure. But we'll just give it a little wipe and see. There's a lot of filler on there. So this is what it's going to look like. Blotchy here, blotchy there, wood filler all over. But maybe that'll give it the antique look that's kind of cool. Now onto the drawers and the door. The top had already been stained, but it was really, really beat up. So I had to do a lot of work to try to get it to the point it's at now, which is not real great. There's a lot of scratches here. You hit them just a little bit before we put the stain on. There's a bunch of glue spots, and it was just in really bad shape. And it already had the stain on it. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here. We'll give it a shot. I didn't go crazy sanding it. But we'll see what happens. That's all we're getting right there. We're on the final stretch now. A couple odds and ends to wrap up. These corners, they're going to be painted. Get them cut, painted, put on, holes filled, repainted. Polyurethane, the stained areas, drawers, door, front. The inside's already been hit with a coat of primer. Outside is all one color now. It's not yellow and wood filler and whatever else that color was that was on there. So we're on the last stretch. Alright, what we're doing now is drilling the holes back out from where the drawer pulls are going to go. After I finish the drawers, a lot of the polyurethane gets down inside the holes and it restricts the holes. So you just have to go back and drill it out. These are going to come through the back, going to go into the handles. We're on the home stretch now. Be done today. Gonna load it up, bring it into the store. I need the garage space. Finish presented a little bit of a problem for me. Garage temperature was near 100 degrees and polyurethane wasn't flowing on very well. It was drying with brush marks in it and air bubbles. So I had to take it down the basement and do it, and also I just switched over to a satin finish which is a lot less likely to show any kind of imperfections. Even though this is recycled lumber, I want it to look halfway decent, at least the finish anyway. Mounting the top on the project cart now. I have cleats all the way around, screwed to the 2x4 framing. I'm screwing up with 2-inch screws through the 1.5 inch, and of course it's 3/4, and it's leaving me enough room so I don't poke through with my screws. This turned out okay. Again, recycled plywood. It's got a lot of gouges and dents and digs. Kind of gives it character. Door is done. The only thing I have to do is mount the knob up in here. Put the drawers back in. I need a little bit of a bumper here and a magnetic catch for it. I have those over on the bench. I have to put them in. After that, she's going to be good to go. Here's some custom graphics on our project workbench. Problem now is darn thing's so heavy I can't get it out to the truck to get it back to work again. See what I can figure out for that. Ready to go. More ways to cook.